What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back with more Danmachi. Now, a lot of you guys were asking the other night for some information on this heroic trial, and I'm going to be honest, this is the first heroic trial in a really long time that I have just absolutely been torn on. I'm not talking about the fight, I'm talking about the actual units you get from this. So, here's the thing, guys. Every unit in this exchange has a really strong upside. I'm going to cover this in a moment. Let's first talk about the fight, and then we'll talk about the units, and then which one you probably want for your team. Because I'm going to be honest, it's a tough call for me. It's a really, really, really tough call for me. So, first things first, the fight. As you guys know, there's the normal, hard, very hard, and EX mission. I always cover the EX mission, because frankly, if you could do the EX mission, you could do all the rest. What I've done here... Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this right away. I know not a lot of people anymore can build this. Well, most people probably can build this, but we've gotten a lot of people that have returned to the game or maybe are new to the game. We've got a lot of players out there who can't necessarily build this exact team. But let me explain why I'm going to use this team, okay? First things first, notice that it says use fire or earth. And there's a reason it does that, so I'm going to jump in here. And I'm just going to say, you can use either one, you can use both, you can use any combination thereof. These units will fall very, very quickly. What I'm using is I'm using a light team. Now, I'm using the light team from last year's anniversary because that's my go-to. When it comes to 7th Zone, when it comes to like any basic event, this team will eviscerate this event. But you're also talking about a team that's right coming up on a year old now. So... the main reason that I use this is the team that kind of represents this big meta shift that we received last year when we got the anniversary. If you guys don't know, during the anniversary, there's always like some huge change. And it's either we get a new mechanic, like the extra actions mechanic, or we get, like last year, we got a big buff. We got a huge endurance and HP buff to all of our units. So this was essentially the first real team you could assemble under all of that. But now we've had a year of units, okay? So in reality, you could build a team. You could build a combo fire and earth team that could knock this for an absolute loop. So the main thing you want to kind of take away from this, number one, I am using Haruhime to give us an early SA gauge charge. Early SA gauge charge is absolutely going to be critical in this. Number two, I'm focusing on single target attacks. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to focus on Tiona first. I honestly probably should focus on eyes first, but in my experience, Tiona's going to fall pretty quickly. Now, Tiona's deficiency here is essentially to Earth teams. She's going to be 20% deficient to Earth. But notice I've debuffed her Light and her Thunder. The reality is any team you've got that has good debuffing will be able to handle this. You're going to have no problems, right? And let me just say this right away. I don't think there's a single element in this game at this point that couldn't do exactly what I'm going to do with an extreme amount of efficiency. Up to and including Thunder, which is one of those teams that I've been really critical of. So even Thunder right now could hammer this home. You could probably build a team of all Hero Festas without a huge amount of debuffing and just focus on physical attacks and still knock this team for a loop. This is not a hard fight, okay? So, and that's Tiona. So let's look at Eyes real quickly. So Eyes is essentially the same way. Physical magic doesn't matter. She's 20% deficient to fire, but once again, I'm using light. So what I'm going to do here on my end is I'm going to open up with Haruhime's her SAH charging, and then I'm going to rotate her out. Okay, and this is something I want you to pay close attention to, because this is going to come into huge play when it comes to what I'm talking about with these units. So, Haruhime is going to leave. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Hero Festa Bell as, I know doesn't look like Hero Festa, he's got an outfit on. I'm going to use the light Hero Festa Bell. I'm going to use Fianna for essentially her buff replication. You don't necessarily need to because like we're going to have this done in 5 to 6 turns. And then I'm going to use Finn mostly for a single target, but also for his SA gauge buffing that he's going to do on turn 3. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're coming out of the gate with everybody's major buff skill. Now, Haruhime is going to rotate out, and Winnie's going to rotate in. Now, what Winnie's going to do is she's going to focus on buffing. We're going to do a little bit of HP regen, and we're going to do some single target buff, as well as she's going to do a physical resistance. I think that's actually a redundant skill, but the single target skill is going to be the biggie. So, just strength and water attack damage 60%, with HP regen. This is to all allies. That is a 60% buff that most of these units don't actually need, but that HP regen will just help out, but it's not critical. Main thing with Winnie is her single target buff. That's it. Both Bell's going to continue on his buff stack. When it comes to Fianna, she's going to do her big single target, as is Finn, because really they just need one turn to buff. Okay? So, super easy. There you guys go. Now, here's what I want you to pay close attention to, and especially when I'm talking about eyes over here. Now, eyes and the Lazar unit that just rotates in will do about the same thing. So, on this turn, I am going to use Finn for his SA gauge charging and a bunch of other stuff. But actually, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and go against the grain on this one. I'm going to go ahead and say with Finn, I'm going to do his big single target attack. And I'm actually going to come out of the gate with Lazar's SA. Now, the main reason I'm going to do this is because Lazar's SA gives strength 120% to all allies. Guess what? That's exactly what Eyes does. So, everybody, including Bell, is going to basically focus on the big single target attack, while Lazar is just going to do his SA and build up the whole team. Now, this does mean he's not going to buff himself, but I really, really, really want that huge strength buff for everybody on the team, because I'll be honest, Lazar's only going to do so much. And Fianna, and Tione is essentially going to fall here really, really, really soon. If I turn icons off, you'll see her health is just pretty much gone. Like, it is just not going to happen now. So in this turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn icons back on. Now I'm going to start focusing on eyes. Because essentially what's going to happen with everybody with that 120% buff skill, Tione is going to fall here shortly just to retaliatory attacks. So now we're going to focus on eyes, okay? So when it comes to Lazar, I'm going to go back and do his skill 1. And essentially, this is why I want to talk about eyes, because eyes' SA does roughly the same thing. So everybody else is going to do their big single target attacks, and then Lazar is just going to do his skill 1 to start building his buffs back up. Now we've got another SA, and we've got choices here. Let's see, what can we do here? I think our best bet, honestly, would be Fianna, because she gets 100% per each single target buff. Let's see. Finn does 100% per each strength buff and 4 extra actions with a physical resist down 60%. So actually we'll go ahead and do Finn. I think Finn will be a better representation here. And I'll have Finn attack eyes, and then everybody else will just do their I'll just have them do their big single targets. We don't even need their extra actions at this point. Lazar will do his skill 2 to continue his buff stack, but I don't even think we're going to need that. Boom. I actually didn't do as much damage as I kind of expected it to do. But, you know, with her physical resist now being down 60%, she's not going to last another turn. So, now on this final turn, I'm going to go ahead and just do everybody's big single target skill. That's that. Now, eyes will go down. Tione should go down as well. There we go. 6 turns. 6 turns. So, and in essence, notice I have an SA left on the table. Now, in my normal build, I have Finn go with his SA in turn 3, and then in my other run, I did Lazar on turn 6. But the reality is, I just wanted to show you what Lazar did and compare that to Eyes. So, you can build any team, really. Really, all this team is doing is getting some early SA gauge charging, getting that early strength plus 120%. You could also do magic. You could do strength or magic. Doesn't really matter. And we're focused on debuffing whatever element we're using. You could use multiple elements. It doesn't really matter. This is a really, really, really easy fight. Don't overthink it. Any well-built team is going to annihilate this. Any well-built modern team, I will emphasize, any units within the past year that you're using as a DPS will just walk all over this event, okay? So, that's easy. That's super simple. What I want to talk about now is what to do with the exchange. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm on the fence. Why am I on the fence? Well, let's go ahead and jump over here and go to the album. And I'm going to start by talking about the assist. Because I always feel like the assist is a really good value. And in this circumstance, there is no question. This assist is really, really, really good. Let's go down here and find Raul. He is right there. Now, you do want to max limit break him for this consideration, because remember, max limit broken assists mean the world, okay? They actually get their main buff when they're max limit broken. Now, I'm not looking at these stats. What I want to look at is what he does. Damage received, attack all, and single target down 20%. Now, we do have all and we have single target down 25%, but we don't have anybody that does everything quite at this. Actually, I think we have a time-limited unit that does everything at this level, but this is really, really, really good. Like, every attack will be deficient by 20%. He also does heal and guard rate plus 15%. This is a really, really solid assist. Now, here's the deal. If you do not have the unit, you're not getting the unit. You're only getting a bond. So, let me explain what I mean by that. If I go back over here to Adventures, okay, I'm going to go to my filter here, and I'm going to make sure that I have this set to Eyes and Tione specifically, okay? So when it comes to the Eyes unit, okay, I believe it's this one. Yes, this one, okay? Tempestuous Blade Eyes. Now, we don't necessarily need to max limit break her to get her full stats. The main thing I want you to pay attention to is what she does right here. Allies, strength plus 120%. Now, she does Ultra Wind physical attack 60% per each target's physical resistance buff skill. That's going to be a 120% hit. It's going to be a really good hit. But this ally strength 120% is the same skill that I was using with Lazar. You don't necessarily need this unit max limit broken. In fact, let me show you. Even at level 60, she still does the same thing, which you cannot say about an assist. But, as always, you do want your units as high level as you can. So, here's the deal. Eyes, fantastic unit. I would go so far as to say Eyes is strangely my top pick here, above the assist. And the whole reason I say that is because while I do like that assist has a limited amount of uses. Eyes does not. Eyes' only limitation is you don't want to use her on a magic team. In reality, though, you could. Why'd that alert go off? Well, okay, so we had an alert here. That's... Ignoring the fact that I need to now go troubleshoot OBS, let's talk about... We'll do it live, I guess. So, essentially, what's going to happen here is you can use Eyes on a predominantly magic team, and what she's going to do is she's going to give herself this big strength buff and everybody else. So really, Eyes does kind of become like a standalone unit in this situation. But in honesty, in complete honesty here, you can use her on any physical team. Be it a wind team, be it a dark team, any team at all. She will stand absolutely still on, and she is phenomenal. Notice that the Lazar that I was using on my team is an earth unit on a predominantly light team. That's why he was so good on that team, is just because of that buff skill. So really, I think Eyes is a fantastic unit. But we also have to talk about Tione. Okay, so if we come down here, and I believe it's this Tione. Nope, it is not that Tione. It is... Oh! I know why I wanted to talk about this Tione. It is this Tione. I do not have Turbulent Temper Tione. So in this situation, this for me would be a no-brainer. Like, she's out of consideration for me. Because if I get this bond, I cannot use this bond at all. I mean, I could sell it for Dolb. That's it. So you want to make sure that when you're choosing a bond, that you choose a bond of a unit that you either have or the unit that you expect to get or that you think you could acquire. Now, all these units are not time limited, so even if you are new at the game and you get a bond that you can't use, you could use it later on. And in that situation, I would probably go for the unit you want the most. Remember, during the anniversary, we are going to have a double 4-star rate, and so you'll be able to get a ton of these units that you otherwise kind of weren't expecting to see. So, not a bad idea, not a bad option. In that situation, I think Eyes really still kind of stands alone. But one thing I want you to take away from this is if you have a good Thunder team, Tione's a great choice because she does Thunder attack damage 100% for 3 turns for all allies. So like where Eyes is good for all physical teams, Tione is a must-have for a Thunder team. Now, we do have other Thunder units that actually kind of supersede her. So she has kind of fallen off a little bit, but I mean, we're talking the smallest margin. So if you don't have a unit that will buff your whole Thunder team like this, you need this unit. If you have a good Thunder team. I do not. Thunder is one of my deficiencies in all the games right now. So for me, it's kind of one of those, and the fact that I don't have her really, for me, solidifies the fact that I'm probably going after Eyes. The only other thing you want to consider is Prism Bonds. And I want you to remember that when you do get Prism Bonds, if you're buying Prism Bonds with Dolb, so let's kind of back up here for a moment and go back out to the main page. Okay, if we go to the shop, we go to the Series Dolb Exchange. If you are buying a Prism Bond with Dolb, I want you to consider that 10 4-stars equals 1 Prism Bond for an adventurer, 15 for an assist. So that's a hard choice. If you are going to be going after Raul at all, then I would get that bond. But if you don't think you'd be chasing Raul, or if you've got that Eyes already, you need to bolster her, Eyes is a great choice. If you've got a Thunder team, pick Tione. It's a tough call because all 3 of these units are fantastic. Each one has a solid pro and not a lot of cons. So make your choice wisely. I can't make this choice for you. All 3 units, fantastic. That's it. That's the only way I can word that. So take this with a grain of salt. Go in there. Knock out that heroic trial. Absolutely get it. Don't forget to use your skip tickets. Skip tickets will absolutely just dominate this. You could, I think all 15 skip tickets, daily skip tickets, if you do the full course, will actually handle it. But for now, like, comment, share, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.